wouldn't you say that when a rate nearly quadruples, that it warrants a response from the federal government and ideally a president that is aware of the crisis that is happening under his administration? Mr. Lincecum?
I would expect a response, Senator. I think that I will give the president a bit of credit in that I do appreciate that he is trying to get formula in the country from abroad. It is a tacit recognition that imports can play and should play an important role in this market, and what happens when you have a market that's effectively walled off from import competition. Unfortunately, however, that is a Band-Aid on a flesh wound. The market has been so distorted by all of the government policies that I mentioned in my opening statement that there's just so much that a couple airlifts and photo ops can really do at this point. It is something that has been years in the making.
Mr. Lynn, your thoughts?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, I agree that the President of the United States has begun to address this issue. I think that he has taken important steps to deal with the closure of the plant and also to deal with the shortages themselves. Now, I think that...
But of course, the rise from 8% to 30% in March of this year, President Biden has said he was unaware of it, that he first became aware of this in April of this year, after we were facing major shortages across the country. Ms. Carney, let me ask you, what negative effects have you seen on the children in your hospital from this formula shortage?
Thank you, Senator Cruz. We are continually struggling.
There. Okay, it's all good now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Senator Cruz. We have been struggling over the last few months to make sure that we find appropriate substitutions for the formulas that we cannot find, and things that will be metabolized and absorbed properly in our patients. But more than that, out in my community, I have seen a lot of dietitians struggling to help mothers and babies find the right substitutions that they can feed. For instance, I referred to the almond milk situation in one community, and I really feel like we need to really focus more on this help to mothers and babies. We're talking about lives of babies and children. I don't know that we can just say, okay, the market is open, let every mother choose which formula she wants. They really need some guidance, some medical guidance, and some guidance from professionals that know nutrition. So I love that we're trying to think about ways we can make more formula available, but it's not going to be something that mothers and parents can just go out there and choose on their own. They do need some guidance in doing that.
So, Ms. Carney, moms around the country are being told to just breastfeed. But am I right that for a significant percentage of mothers, they have difficulty doing so, and indeed there may be medical reasons why doing so is not advisable?
Really appreciate that question. We know that breast milk, human breast milk, is the optimal choice for infant nutrition. And if we can promote that more and have mothers educated on how to breastfeed and get the support they need by reaching out to pediatric dietitians and dietitians that specialize in maternal nutrition and international board certified lactation consultants, these mothers can breastfeed. There's probably a very small percentage of mothers who cannot breastfeed. Many mothers think that they're not able to breastfeed because they run into problems, challenges, even things that I mentioned with going back to work. That's a huge roadblock sometimes. But if we can address those and help mothers initiate and sustain breastfeeding, I think we will see a lot better health for our babies and children, and also more satisfied moms, and being able to achieve the goals that they set for themselves with breastfeeding.
Thank you. Mr. Lincecum. On February 24th of this year, Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, I believe that war was entirely avoidable. and could have been avoided had President Biden not waived sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And indeed, in January of this year, I forced a vote on the Senate floor to impose those sanctions. At the time, President Zelensky begged the United States Senate to stand with Ukraine, impose those sanctions, and said it was the only thing that would stop Putin from invading Ukraine. Unfortunately, 44 Senate Democrats voted with President Biden against sanctioning Russia, against sanctioning Putin, and that was, I believe, the immediate precipitating cause of the war in Ukraine. Now, you're not here testifying about that war, but the FDA said that the invasion caused, quote, additional uncertainty in the infant formula supply chain, as Ukraine is a major exporter of sunflower oil, an ingredient used in many infant formulas. In your judgment, should the administration have been aware of and on alert to the supply chain challenges and the threat of a formula shortage caused by the fact that one of the ingredients in formula was at a risk of shortage itself?
Thank you, Senator. I can certainly speak to the first point. There have been signs starting last year and even in January, that there were problems in the infant formula market. So I certainly think that the administration should have been aware of potential supply chain issues arising in the infant formula market and potentially exacerbated by the conflict. On the sunflower issue, though, I'm going to have to defer. I just don't know the extent to which that was a major issue prior to Russia's invasion. I would note, however, that, again, in normal markets, supply and demand can adjust relatively quickly. Unfortunately, in the U.S. infant formula market, we do not have normally functioning supply and demand due to these government distortions. And I haven't even gotten into the upstream input distortions that U.S. dairy policy, milk pricing programs, and other protectionism cause and compound the problems in the market. So certainly I think that the administration should have been aware of the overall issue, but the sunflower issue, I am not sure.
Thank you.